So let me welcome us to today's MSME Clinic. MSME Clinic is an opportunity for us to really look at businesses, try to see those problems, and see how we can diagnose those problems for us to be able to solve problems, for entrepreneurs to be able to grow their enterprise and move them to the next level. So today, we're not going to be looking at business leadership and management principle as propounded by Mark Zuckerberg. We all know Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook. A project he started with his schoolmates way back in Harvard as at that time. Okay, so today, Facebook has grown to be one of those mega organizations, and today is now being known as Meta. Okay, so there are 5 principles that Mark Zuckerberg has propounded that will help business leadership and management principles at the end of the day. Number 1, it talks about organizations being lean. Okay? So try to maintain a lean organization rather than maintain a very bogus organization that at the end of the day, you may end up losing control over those organizations. Number 2, Mark Zuckerberg is saying founders don't delegate. Very controversial statement. But in the course of time, we'll try to break down what he meant by that. And he is saying learn and unlearn. Okay? Then allow time to read up before meetings. Today, quite a number of us just rush into meetings without having to prepare. At the end of the day, you don't end up getting what you plan that meeting out to be. Number 4, he's saying execute again, and execute. And of course, number 5 is born out of one of his principles when he started Facebook to say we need to move fast. So we take them one by one now and break them down to try to peep into the mic of Mark Zuckerberg. What we do most times is that sometimes you will not have opportunity to be able to speak to great people like Mark Zuckerberg. So what do? You try to read about them, okay? To try to peep into their mind to see what they do and to see how they do them. He is saying, try to run a lean organization. You will see that in 2022, Mark Zuckerberg had to lay off about 11,000 workers. That is great. If you have a nation today, a country that is employing that kind of number of people, that nation will be great. But here we are. Mark Zuckerberg is working on the principle of the fact that you need to be lean by laying off about 11,000 in 2022. Subsequently, he laid off another 10,000 persons. Okay, so these are lessons for us to learn as entrepreneurs. Mark Zuckerberg famously claimed in 2023 as his year of efficiency for Meta, saying that he wanted the firm to flatten out its organization structure by way of removing some layers of the middle level management. Okay? So he said, I don't think you want to manage a structure that is just managers managing managers, then managing managers, then managing managers, managing people who are doing the work that Mark Zuckerberg said is an internal question and answer he did last session. And I mentioned to you that in 2022, he laid out 11,000 persons. And in 2023, he laid out another 10,000 persons. Okay? Are you carrying out that organization that is top heavy? Are you carrying that organization that your wage bill at the end of every month is getting you to think? So you must watch out to try to keep your organization lean even from day one. Number 2 is that he's saying that founders don't delegate. So don't forget that founders are the dream carriers. They are the visionary of those organizations. And a lot of people told me that, look, I don't want to expose my idea because I don't want somebody to steal that idea. And I said to you, even that the idea that you think that you have, you only have those ideas even in parts and in bits. Okay? So as you work on ideas, that is how you get the full picture. And that's why Mark Zuckerberg is saying today that at a founder level, delegate less. Okay? Mark Zuckerberg said in one of the most controversial leadership tips as business leadership is to avoid delegating responsibility. Okay? So he said, I kind of think the way that founders should work is for you to basically make out many decisions and get involved in many things as far as you can do. Okay, so today as leader, talking about startup, Okay? A founder should be on ground trying to do the right thing and do it right. So that is something that I guess that you have to get used to, as like founders do not have to delegate. Number 3 talks about a lot of time to read up before meetings. A lot of people go ahead to schedule meeting and they are unprepared for those meetings. So Mark Zuckerberg is telling us today that, look, you need to get prepared for meetings so that you can have total control of those meetings. He said, I actually like trying to have a rule for every hour of a meeting so that I can have full control and be able to delegate and be able to do the meeting the way it ought to do. So Mark Zuckerberg is telling us today that, look, you should learn, as a matter of fact, to read up before you start any meeting. So the number 4 principle is talking about execution. Execute, execute, and also execute. So as a founder, as an entrepreneur, most times you spend a lot of your time trying to plan out things, but people miss out in execution. Okay? So most of the time people worry about competition, and that's what Mark Zuckerberg said. He said, but rather focus on trying to execute that plan that you have set out. And once you have set out to do the necessary execution, you're sure that you will do the right thing at the end of the day. Of course, number 5 talks about moving fast. He said, Meta announced new company values in 2022, and one of which he said we need to move fast. It's an abbreviation version of what is perhaps Mark Zuckerberg's best known saying, move fast and break things, as a mantra for Facebook in the early days. But today, he's saying move fast with stable infrastructure, and that is the outlook for 2024. So once again, I want to take us back to those Mark Zuckerberg's 5 principles of running a successful organization. And number 1, we're saying you need to be lean in your organizational structure. There is no need for you to be too bogus. Number 2, as a founder, you have to delegate less. And number 3, prepare a lot of time before you go into any meeting. Then number 4 talks about execution. Execute, execute, execute. And number 5 is for you to move very fast. So I believe that if you follow all these principles, you will get organization right, especially when the organization is getting big, and for you to be able to have full control and be able to do the right thing and do them at the right time. So on today's MSME Clinic, I just want to thank you again for listening to us. We'll follow up with this series on business leadership and management principle, looking at other key entrepreneurs, the way they do their business, the way they run them, for them to be successful. And I pray that yours will be successful. Thank you very much.